Welcome back everyone to the channel. Of course, Manchester City come to Old Trafford, a Manchester derby, always a massive game, regardless of where we find ourselves in the league or if we get them in one of the cup competitions. A derby is always a massive game. And of course, there's quite a few things we need to speak about. Where does Mason Mount fit into this team? And of course, this potential Garnacho ban that kind of pissed me off, if I have to be honest, and will always be honest with you guys. And of course, we will do a preview on the Manchester derby. So stick with me and thank you for joining me. And of course, subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and share it to your friends and family who support Manchester United and football in general. So, let's first speak about Mason Mount. 55 million, came from Chelsea, huge expectation, a 10-hour priority as the media put it, and he got injured in the early stages of the season. And to make matters worse, when he started the season, he didn't perform well, and he came off a bad season with Chelsea. And now, being trained, fit, and ready to play, but cannot get into the team. Against Sheffield United, you would have expected him to come on in the second half. He didn't. Against Copenhagen, maybe you thought he was going to start. I mean, I wanted him to start. And he didn't even come on in the second half. Now, you're not going to start them against Manchester City. I don't think that would be fair on him. And I don't think that would be fair on the team. And thirdly, I don't think that would be the right move tactically to put him into a game like that. A lot of blame can be put on him if we lose or we don't have a good performance. And that is something that is not welcomed right now, especially for a new signing. But where does he fit in? Surely on the right hand side, he can't. On the left hand side, he can't. Because either side, you've got Rashford, Garnacho, the likes of Anthony, Ahmad, Pelistri. In the number 10, he can play. We've seen him play there for Chelsea. But you're not going to drop him for Bruno unless there's a game that doesn't have any consequence, any meaning. And of course, we've seen him play in midfield alongside Casemiro, but Ten Hag wanted to play him and Bruno both higher up as two number 8s, and it leaves us exposed in midfield. Hence the reason why Amrabat was signed, hence the reason why the likes of McTominay still get game time. And if McTominay is playing ahead of him, and he can't even get into the team because of McTominay, then that does leave a concern. Where does he fit in? I repeat the question. It's a concern because, yes, he's got time on his side. His career with United just started and there's still a couple more years to go with him. But right now, it is a concern that Mason Mount cannot get into the team. It's a concern that he cannot find himself in the midfield, his desired area of play, in order to be part of the team. It's all good and well being on the bench. It's all good and well, coming on in the second half. But he's not even doing that. And that leaves us with a concern. And it's interesting to see exactly what Ten Hag is going to do with Mason Mount. I do have to apologize for if you hear any screaming or loud voices. There are kids obviously outside playing in the area. So we have to be wary of that and understand that. So I do apologize if that might be annoying you. Nevertheless, as I said, a concern for Mason Mount that he cannot find a place in this team. Now, the next point that I want to talk about is the potential ban of Garnacho by the FA. So after the game against Copenhagen, Garnacho tweeted or made a post on X where he posted 2 gorilla emojis in support, and I have to say in support, of Andre Onana, simply because he made a fantastic penalty save that won us the game. Yes, Maguire scored, but that penalty save won us the game and was absolutely monumental and crucial to Onana's confidence and to his career. And as a teammate, Garnacho wanted to support him. But then a couple minutes later, the next morning, you wake up and you see that the FA are investigating it because they think that he gave a racist remark towards Onana. Now, certain people will be offended, but Onana then very quickly came out and made a statement on Instagram, and he said that he understands what Garnacho did. It was meant for power and strength, and that there was no racial intent. and that the matter should be ended immediately, and even tagged the FA. And yet they still are investigating and want to potentially ban him. We know what happened with Cavani when he used a term that is okay in Uruguay but not okay in the UK, and he got banned for 3 games. And now Garnacho is potentially going to be banned. I just think it's ridiculous, and I think that the FA are being quite purposeful. Manchester City have got all of their charges that are out there. They, one, haven't responded correctly, and two, nothing is being done by it. Jamie Carragher coming out saying that they should be dropped, and relegated by 12 divisions if the likes of Everton is going to have to be docked points. So it's getting feisty with regards to that. But for them to look at Garnacho and him supporting a teammate and a 19-year-old kid who literally doesn't need to face this amount of scrutiny over a post that he made, and whether he made the post or not, that's a question that you have to ask yourself, because do they run their own social medias? And that is the crux of the matter. Did he do it? Did he not do it? It does not matter. It shows that they always want to make us at a disadvantage and always want us to be in a position where we cannot progress. Any position to hamper us, they will take. And this anti-United agenda that the FA, that the referees, that the UK media, and the greater media in the world has against Manchester United is sad. And that's the way it is with us, and for the players of Manchester United. But I just think it's ridiculous. And if he does get banned, I think the team should not play that game, or the games that he is going to be banned for, because we need to stand with him. The FA cannot continue to be this corrupt and continue to punish teams and look at small trivial matters that there's nothing there. It was resolved, and Onana comes out and has to make a statement. So again, just ridiculous. But let's get into the preview. Manchester City, they lost 2 away games. They lost both of those games. And yes, they didn't have Rodri in those games, but this season they haven't played that well. They haven't been that excellent City that you expect them to be. And they cannot be perfect forever. Eventually the wheels have to fall off. And I think that is probably what's happening right now. There are chinks in their armor, and we can get at them. We are playing at home. More tributes will be given to Sir Bobby, and we need to use that feeling, that energy as motivation. We won our previous 2 games. We won it in late moments, and of course against Copenhagen, that penalty save, the energy that was shown, the passion, that is definitely a confidence booster. And with City not being at the absolute best and missing a Kanji as well, a player that is crucial to their back line, it is very important to note that we actually can get at them. This is where the optimism comes in that I put in the thumbnail. We can be optimistic because we have an opportunity here to get at City. We might not have most possession. We might not control the ball as much as we would want, as much as Ten Hag wants to go toe-to-toe with City and be dominant on the ball and have the players for that. We don't. So we need to be wary and mindful exactly of how Manchester City will have the ball. But we need to deny them spaces. We need to cut their passing lines. We need to ensure that we press them when we can. And when we get opportunities to counter-attack or to counter-press, then we definitely need to take it. And the chances that we get, we need to put away. There will be times in the game where City will have long periods of possession, and those are the moments where we need to stay focused. Those are the moments where we need to stay disciplined, keep quite compact, and then when getting the ball back, look to counter. We have to find ourselves in a position where we can go and get a win. And I think we can get a win, And that being said, for me personally, as a predicted starting 11, I think Ten Hag will stick with the same back 5, being Onana, Reguilon left back, Maguire, Varane, and Delo at right back. In midfield, Ten Hag did say that Casemiro is not 100%, and he's got a race against the clock to be fit for the Manchester derby. But I think that he will be fit enough to start. And you have to start him. He's the best player, as a centre defensive midfielder for us, and he has to start. He, didn't play against Copenhagen, didn't play against Sheffield United, and I think he had enough rest and should be able to start this game. That being said, I spoke about Mason Mount at the beginning of the video, and that I said that I don't think he will start. And yes, Eriksen, gave good performances when he came up from the bench against Sheffield and Copenhagen, but I don't think that he will start this game. He shouldn't start this game, in my opinion. The evidence of him starting this game has not been good, with the likes of, if I have to put it this way, the semi-final and the final that we played in the FA Cup last season showed clear evidence that we suffer if we don't have the ball, with Eriksen in midfield. So it has to be Amrabat next to Casemiro. I would like to see that, so that we could have a good defensive base, and that we are also able to have players that are able to be comfortable on the ball and play it through the lines. Both of them are capable of doing that, and also being defensively sound. So I think Casemiro and Amrabat need to play in midfield, and the front four not changing. Bruno in the 10, Rashford on the left, Anthony on the right, and Hoyland up front. I think this has to be the starting 11. I think this is a team that can get at City in a counter-attacking basis, but also can play through the lines should we manage to have a bit of possession. And when we do have possession, be calm on the ball, be calm in the game. We shouldn't lose our heads, and we should go at them. There's no pressure on us. We are expected to lose, but that's an excuse. It's an excuse to want to lose the game and say, it's fine, it's City, we lose, we don't have to worry about 3 points and move on to the next game. No. It's a Manchester derby. Every coach, Ten Hag of course included, every player, every person in that club that is working there, and of course us as fans, need to believe and be optimistic that we can win at home in a Manchester derby every season, regardless of where we find ourselves. That is the mentality and the standard that we have to keep, because that is the standard that Sir Alex Ferguson has put into place. That is the attitude and standard that Sir Bobby Charlton engraved into the club with the Busby Babes, and even after them when he had to rebuild the club with so many other people. That has to be the standard. We have to be optimistic that we can win a Manchester derby at home. But thank you for joining me. Drop a like, share it to your Man United friends and family, and of course, subscribe to the channel, please. I appreciate your support. Have a good one, enjoy the weekend, and of course, enjoy the game on Sunday. Bye-bye, Red Devils. Till we see each other again soon. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.